of the map. As we see this setup from Owner going with the Poppy again, something that he is also super comfortable with. And this is coming off of Zeus actually getting dove over and over again on this bot side of the map, right? And so you see BLG are going to want to try to end up with a collapse, but then here they come.
Hey, kann Owner da so lange überleben?
This is also Zeus's redemption arc, I think. I said before, I think he's gotten the better of Bin overall across the series, and I thought he recovered so well in a lot of these fights.
And this is also after the topside play that ended up backfiring immensely for T1. And more importantly, it also highlights, I think, why Keria, even though you look at this is the dive comp. You're playing into a lot of range, a lot of poke, but they're still able to make it work. And I think part of that was also because BLG, why are we fighting this? You have Smolder and Ziggs. You can stall until infinity, which they didn't do, but it also makes these skirmishes so insanely oppressive.
I get blamed for the glazing so much because he wasn't even in that. I read a different one. Regardless, you brought up a good point, though, and this is always the case when you talk about T1 in these situations, right? Although we need to respect that we know what this team looked like without Faker shot calling and his presence in the team, you also always need to mention all of them who can rally for moments like this. We even heard it in this tournament specifically, right? Zeus, who was calling a really important fight in the knockout rounds. We know that Keria can do the same. We know that Owner can step up together with not Huma, he's home, Guma Yushi. So, you know, it was great to watch.
But then, we have the Faker Silas play, right?
Play, now for real.
You probably know it's coming. He ends up stealing the Rakan ult here when after BLG you think it's over, the arrow misses, right? But here comes Faker from the side. They even see him coming, steals the Rakan ult, sets up for this beautiful combination with the Keria Renata. It's just insane.
I mean, he used it perfectly. He's forward, then he rocket belts flashes onto the next two, charms up everyone, sets up the CC, and it's those plays that are so iconic. And Faker has so many of them leading to world titles.
I mean, shades of the Azir catch on Ruler, right? In a similar situation versus an LPL team, in a situation where you're up against match point, Maurits. Class is forever.
And then it's also the follow-up, right? Like Owner flashing on immediately, Keria being at the ready, and they're going to need that as well, because in this game number 5, do not forget, because of the fact that T1 lost on red side, BLG will have the opportunity to go back to blue.
And this roster T1 7-7 in game 5, so they are beatable. We'll see if BLG can pull it off.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna write off BLG either. They love playing these grudge matches, these best of 5s back in the LPL. They can go forever, Emily, but this is their backs against the wall. Everything that we have set up at the beginning of the day about the pressure of all of the LPL fans, of all of the BLG fans, they are the ones that were supposed to exact their revenge on T1, and they had him, and they didn't finish it. Is it gonna come back to bite him?
I mean, they're on blue side, so I'm super curious. I want to see them go for full comfort, right? Because even though that composition that they had in the last game was good, it's like, do you really want Knight on Smolder? Even when Smolder is insane, but you want him on something with agency. You want him on something where he can control it. You see the players coming out now. That's what I want to see from BLG. Default to comfort, play your game.
Hey, you get to walk past your own name there if you're T1 from last year, Azale. Must give him some confidence.
I mean, it's engraved on the trophy. They can see it. You just have to reach out and grab it. And we'll see if T1 can pull it off on the red side. BLG earned themselves that blue side advantage by beating them on red. That is the edge that they have going into this all-important Game 5.
And if you look at the games thus far, I actually think BLG have looked better. It's obviously been close. The games have been really one-sided, which makes it hard. But like this punch back that we saw in topside for BLG, for example, I think spells a lot of hope. But the real question is, how are they going to be able to deal with the pressure of being in that game number 5? And I gotta say, I think it's a toss-up at this point.
It is.
All 10 players walking in look completely unfazed. Neither side seems nervous at all.
Absolutely, and that's what we want to see. And if you feel like it is building up to a crescendo, I hope so as well. We heard some of the music pieces, but one was too loud for the one orchestra and the other was too loud for the other. I want to see them synergize and fight it out till the very, very end. It is only one game that stands between us and knowing who our 2024 World Champion is. Will it be Faker with his 5th or Knight with his first?
It's a good question, Shox, and I don't think any of us here at the caster desk have an answer that will please you too much. However, I can promise you the 10 players in the middle of this arena full of people in the middle of London are ready to provide that answer. Faker rebooting, locking in, preparing himself for another Game 5 on the world stage. It has only happened 4 times in finals across the history of Worlds, and Faker has been in 3 of those. He has lost 1 to DRX, he has won 1 all the way back in, 1-1 against Samsung Galaxy
all the way up.
2016. And now we'll see if he can win against BLG, who are on the blue side. Varus, their first ban.
Varus gewonnen. Aurora, die heißt, ne? Ash gebannt diesmal.
T1, they did their duty in doing the Aurora and Yone bans and threw in the Nico as well. As both Knight and Faker are very good on that champion as well as on Encaria, this flex pick. But I'm really curious, will they still ban the Nico once again?
I think it's Kalista. I think they'll take it away. I think it's proven to be too strong in this series, and I don't think they're going to allow it to go through.
Honestly, I agree with you. I just think that the Kalista is just such a powerful bot.
We had the same conversation where it's a question of, do you trade Kalista for Jax? And then T1 couldn't find much success from the Jax pick, and BLG really made the Kalista work for them. Now they have to make the decision. The Kalista will be banned. That does mean that in Game 5, Bin is going to get his Jax. And without hesitation, he immediately locks it in.
All right, are we going to get the Zeus Gragas, the Zeus Gnar, perhaps?
I mean, you have to trust
Kommt der Rumble wieder, oder was?
Shown that his Gragas is an effective answer into the Jax. I would call it an old school counter pick, but it's the one that Zeus has been leveraging throughout this World Championship. I don't think they need to lock it in now. They could grab themselves the Vi if they wanted to. Perhaps Renata for carrier once more. They're hovering it.
Oh yeah! Locked in straight away. Bin lays down the gauntlet and Zeus immediately answers. Bin has only lost 3 times on his Jax this year. Twice against T1, once against Genji. And now we'll see if Zeus can stand in his way once again. T1 looking towards perhaps a Galio in the mid lane here for Faker. And it's going to be locked in as well, so they have a very tanky front line already. Gragas obviously has a big sustained tank, the Galio as well, which is pretty much unkillable unless you can manage to get ahead of him.
I'm honestly surprised to see the Galio locked in this early for T1, rather than securing something like the Xayah Rakan for themselves. They've chosen to go for it, maybe in anticipation of BLG potentially going for the Silas and knowing that the Galio can be an effective answer into it.
Noch gar nicht gesehen jetzt.
Himself is Kaiser.
Ooh, we have to think they're going to build more on top of this dive then.
Oh, klaut ihn. Oh, wird antäuschen.
It's just comfort. BLG are just saying, how comfortable can we be?
Oh my goodness.
Jax, we'll give Elk Kaiser, we'll give Knight Ari. That is the epitome of what BLG like.
How many legendary player champion combos are we going to get in a deciding Game 5 of World Finals?
Stell einfach jetzt vor, er spielt den Ari-Skin von Faker. Das wäre geil.
I mean, he's world famous for his Ari. This World Championship hasn't had the best win rate for him, but you cannot afford to underestimate it. The Xayah going to be locked in for T1. You imagine that Rakan is going to rise in priority. BLG likely looking to ban that one away.
100% agree with you there. It just works too well with the T1.
Ach ja, jetzt sind ja erst wieder die letzten beiden Bans.
Let's see, what will the bans towards BLG be here for T1 though, as we try and whittle down? I mean, possible jungle, possible jungle takeaways here for Shun.
I mean, if BLG continue down their comfort route, do you just get rid of something like the Rakan as well? Obviously, T1 kind of want the Rakan themselves, so BLG will remove it. In the end, no one's getting Rakan.
I'm thinking like the Vi is just such a no-brainer pairing with the Ari as well.
True.
But they do leave the Vi up there for Shun to take.
The Kindred ban is like, okay, we can see how much comfort you're drafting. We're not going to allow that.
Man, but Vi, I would even prefer a Vi over a Kindred if we're running Ari, plus we have lots of dive on our side too. The Renata, a no-brainer as well. Follow up to the Rakan ban there. Take away those 2 primo picks for Carrier. Too good against dive.
I am
Und du hast der Sylas oder was?
Wondering if they put Ono on something a little more carry-orientated. I was thinking maybe Viego, but I don't love it. I feel like Vi does make the most sense. The Poppy into the Jax. In terms of damage, though,
but it's so good at shutting down all of these carries that BLG are already
it's also
showing.
a flex pick. You can also put it into the support position so they can wait to see what BLG draft and then decide after that. Because you're 100% right, Kobe. Poppy and its ability to mitigate the dashes on the side of BLG is a very powerful pick for sure.
Ooh, Java.
It's gonna be Shen.
Looking towards the Jarvan. Wait here with baited red. This locked in. Aggression, dive from BLG.
It actually makes more sense. I was previously talking about Vi, but the Jarvan ultimate is better versus Xayah than the Vi ultimate is. So much better there. So really, really intelligent move.
On, likely deferring to another one of his comments, the cheeky hover. Showcasing some confidence there.
There's the realm.
Oh, wie die Köpfe am Qualm sind, was sie am besten nehmen.
This entire BLG lineup. The question is now, is the Poppy going to support? Will Carrier be piloting it, or will Ona be the ones with his hands on it? It's synonymous with Ona to me. He has such a great record on this champ that my expectations are Carrier is looking through his support pool right now. Wondering where they go, but it seems like perhaps T1 want to flex it.
I mean, we talked about the damage, and I was a little bit worried putting all that damage responsibility onto Gumayushi. By bringing in the Xin Zhao, it does increase the amount of damage.
Geht auf Galio?
We think about mid-jungles. Okay. Into the series about how Knight and Shun have been working exceptionally well throughout the bracket stage and finding advantages for BLG, and have really been playmakers when it came to the team fight. And Faker and Ona, a core part of the success of what makes T1 so good. Now, here in this game, those mid-jungle synergies are going to be crucial, as I'm expecting standard lanes. It's Zeus' Gragas versus Bin's Jax in the top side. Faker's Galio, a tried and true throughout his legacy, versus Knight, a player that is looking to make his name on World's history with his signature champion. We couldn't have asked for a more exciting draft here in Game 5.
100% I agree. Already just with the draft, I think that this is the most exciting game of the entire series from what we've seen. Both of them have capabilities of fighting those critical, important top-side fights around the grubs early on into the game. Xin Zhao plus Galio, such a good combo. The Jarvan plus the Ahri, also such a good combo.
Das sind dann die Coach und
Bin's
Managers,
Jax versus Zeus legendary, I would say, Gragas at this point. He is 23-4 on the Gragas all-time. Impressive stats, to say the least.
One last time we go to Summoner's Rift. One last time we see the defending champions battle against the first.
The last big match.
One more time we see these titans on the Rift challenge each other. One more time we see the weight of expectation so great on these two teams' shoulders. One more time.
There's so much on the line for both sides. BLG getting some revenge for last year's World Championship as T1 made their way through every single LPL team. T1 looking to raise their 5th trophy. LPL and BLG looking to hoist the Summoners Cup. So much on the line, and a single game will decide it all. A standard line of scrimmage to start off the game. I keep my eyes on, pathing up towards the top side. A lane swap possibility seems very real. We were optimistic, we were hopeful for Bin versus Zeus, but it looks like we're going to be done.
Yeah, looks like we are. The ward goes down in defense for T1. Sweeper comes out immediately, though, for BLG as they move in for that lane swap. Now we got to track, are they going to try and soak experience this time around for their level 2s to defend against these guys? Looks like Zeus just immediately going right down. And we'll head on through that mid lane once again.
Ona starting on his wolves right now. Carrier spotting Bin out. Bin was trying to get to the wave to try and soak some of that XP, but couldn't get in range. Zeus has been able to get a little bit of XP out of mid as Knight is just catching that wave that Faker and Zeus will push forward. It's going to be a split map. Bin goes in with the counter-strike here. Tries to get into range for some of those minions dying. He didn't get any XP.
Yeah, look at that. It's that melee right there that was one auto away. He does soak a little bit now, though. I mean, every little bit. We're on pins and needles because of soaking experience and lane swaps. It's every little bit that top laners can get.
Note that Zeus grabbed XP in the mid wave and is now making a way towards top. On has path towards bot, preparing for the potential dive, knowing that the split map has come through. Zeus going to take a bit of damage, a lot of damage from Elk, but he's going to tick over to level 2, and he should be fine now on the top side.
And they should be able to defend this dive. On was able to soak his level 2 before hitting down. There's so much CC with a Rel plus Jax. I think that
Elk's already swapping as well. So Bin's going to get level 2 here. Going to farm this experience underneath the tower on there as well. Knight gets the charm onto Faker, has to flash.
Oh, flash.
The Justice punch, Faker punching in the opposite direction to get that little bit of an extension on that E.
And it might seem weird that he would do that, but it's because he knows that Owner is on the bottom side of the map, and he hasn't showcased on the bot lane dive, meaning that he's in the jungle, and the possibility of him showing up mid is very real. Knight showcasing that respect, doesn't want to give over first blood. He's getting pushed underneath this tower, but his farm is doing just fine as Faker on the Galio continues his pressure in mid.
Meanwhile, once they do teleport Bin back to that top side, he should be able to soak up his level 3 as Zeus already pushed the wave. Zeus is going to get first move, but Faker under attack.
Has no flash, Justice punch, gets hit, there's the charm as well. And Faker might fall first in the finals of the finals. Knight gets the kill, BLG find first blood.
The Jarvan Ari strikes first blood here into, wait a second.
Elk has flash, has cleanse. Keria looking for that flank position. Onto it, use the shadowing striking. Knight goes down.
Flash raus.
You can see Keria trying to bait the early flash. They're on, just able to escape to the relative safety of the other side of that wall.
Another game, another BLG first blood. Finding it onto Faker, crucial. Especially given that Knight did have to expend his flash earlier, but a good response from T1 as they lay in wait in the bot brush, ready to try and trap Elk. They couldn't convert it into a kill, but they do get his summoner spell. And look at this bot wave. It is very awkward, slowly pushing towards the bot lane of T1. They're going to require Jun to shadow in the lane.
All the way down here, because Keria and Guma are doing such a good job just holding it. Meanwhile, top side, easy trading up there. The Jax into Gragas matchup is so much denial there for the Gragas. The phase rush for Zeus, easily able to hold them off. But here comes Shun, as you mentioned, came to shadow, make sure that they can move up to the wave.
Going in, looking for the damage onto Zeus there. Relatively even top lane after obviously the first few levels were spent on opposite sides of the map. Very tiny gold lead for BLG.
Stark gedodged.
Punch to dodge away from the charm in mid.
Shun hovering around.
Yeah, really cost Faker last time. Giving up that first blood, no flash on Faker. Pretty good movement so far from Shun, doing so much for his lanes, you know. Going towards Knight to make sure they can get their first blood, going towards bottom lane, make sure their wave is in a good state.
So you have to do on the Jarvan, right? It is a very gank-orientated jungler.
It does cost him in CS though, so this is something you're gonna have to keep track of. Just remember that Shun did a lot for his lanes. Now he's gonna try and catch back up though and see if he can clear the rest of his jungle.
And you know, you can sit there and go, oh, it's a shame that T1 didn't get that kill in the bot lane 2v2, but they still benefited massively. You look at the AD carry difference, and because of the farm that was denied from Elk and the wave that Gumayushi was able to catch, he finds himself with about a 200 gold lead. And now he paths back up towards top. T1 have done this consistently, ready for the grub spawn. Faker ticking over to level 6 very soon. Nice trade into Keria. It's going to make this contest of the grubs very difficult for T1, but Ona has found an angle onto Bin.
Bin has the flash here. Ona dash forward with that audacious charge. Hits him with the Wind Becomes Lightning. There is the counter strike out from Bin. Ona happy enough to eat that. You can see the TP coming in from Zeus as well as T1 are bringing more members up towards the top side. Faker has the hero's entrance.
Oh my god, hey, yo!
The flash away as T1 disengaged for the moment. Owner jumping back in.
Was gehst du rein?
Kevin gets the slam into the wall. It's on. Almost falls.
Okay.
Punched by Faker. And now Bin and Shun have to escape. But Zeus does not want to let them get away. The explosive cast knocks them back in the end. T1 will win the fight.
Sie kriegen die Dings da jetzt. Stark.
In the game number 5, all 10 players show up, and it is T1 who get Owner's Poppy Slam into the wall on. They get the kill, they get the grubs.
Und jetzt schön nochmal die Plays mitnehmen.
T1, even though they conceded first blood, they set up for the grubs extremely well. And BLG got caught off guard.
You feel that, Vedius? That is a wave of T1 fans.
You look back at the replay. Ona
Ja,
walking
men ich
into
dachte gerade, was
darkness,
macht
but he knows he
Xingzao,
has the
oder?
support on. Not quite connecting on the stun. It could have been crucial, especially with Knight right there for the follow-up. The Galley ulti comes in, the connection into the wall, and then Faker securing that first kill.
Yeah, and it's Carrier Poppy this time around, of course. He's
Ja,
the one
ausrasten.
who got it, and the grub secured, T1 with the early game lead secured. The reason we're so focused on that is because
Ja,
you
das
can
ist
balloon
geil,
this
dass man
goalie
sowas
so quickly,
macht.
but Faker under attack.
Oh mein Gott, er ist
Flash
gefickt.
will punch forward. Justice Punch coming out on. Misses the crash down.
Ja,
Charm
Digga,
connects,
kann er
though,
nichts
and the
machen.
chase continues.
Oh,
Should go
was?
forward. Faker save the flash. And in the end, we'll use it to
Wow.
finish out of Shun's engage.
I can't believe in a 4 versus 1, he's still able to get out. The charm doesn't quite connect. Knight, though, very healthy, able to get the push, means that BLG should be able to secure the first dragon of the game. They haven't actually set their sights on it. No TP available for Faker. I am a little bit surprised. The bot push is going to come through for Gumayushi, who has sticked over to level 6. BLG, right now, resets come through. Elk making his way back towards bot now.
More turret plate money, more demolished procs.
Oh, mach keinen Scheiß, Bruder.
See just the pressure that Faker's absorbing in the mid lane. T1 now using that to garner a 1.7k gold lead. Gumayushi's been picking up plate after plate. Ona now looking towards this bot side. Elk yet to hit the level 6, still half a level of XP away. Elk
Das wird gefickt.
supercharges his way back in the lane.
I mean, the Zaya
Okay, doch ne?
is just so far ahead here. 2 levels for Guma. Over him, not to mention all the extra
Und die
gold,
Plate
the
kriegen sie auch
biggest
noch.
gold lead holder on the team. So much
Boah.
Carrier goes in and down goes on. Carrier turns
Oh, stark.
and the question is, will Elk stay around because he's still not at that level 6?
I mean, a masterful performance from Carrier in the top lane grub fight, along with this play in bot. He is just finding those angles for Poppy to connect into the wall.
Big damage.
T1 find another kill,
Und sie
extend
kriegen
their goal lead
Drake.
to 2k, and they'll secure the first dragon of the game.
And it is a very tall
Drake?
task here for BLG
Drake
to
plus
get Elk back
die
into this game.
Grubs, oder wie
Zaya is so
heißen?
weak early on and being denied so much early into this game. It's going to be very hard for BLG to get their dive comp really online and get him scaling up into being a threat. Very far in the future, you're going to have to look before Elk is really a danger.
Knight felt the pressure of this position last year on JDG in the semifinals. It was T1 that denied JDG the Golden Road. Hoping to get revenge, he is one of the players that we will be keeping our eyes on as this game continues. His Ahri has been able to turn around some incredibly difficult games before. The pick potential is real, but right now Guma is just
going for it.
Oh, Carrier with a good set fast person. TP coming in from BLG as they look
there he comes
to make the play. Spear rush forward by Knight, holding the charm, doesn't get stunned. The charm hits Carrier.
Poppy keine Chance, dadurch zu kommen.
Carrier falls first as Gumayushi brings the feathers back and almost takes down on.
Oh mein Gott. Oh, das war stark.
BLG find 2. Guma's walking away wounded.
Just as we talk about him, he makes the play.
Das hat er stark
3
gemacht.
kills now for Knight. A fantastic TP to bring BLG back.
Speak his name and you will invoke the magic of Knight's Ahri. That just
Fuck.
fully funded Malignance and the shoes upgrade. Lucidity acquired. That ultimate cooldown now for Knight will be so low. T1 though, looking back at the grubs, they want to get at least 4 for their Void Might spawn. Despite a really good play there from BLG.
I mean, yeah, the bot tower falling means that there's a huge wave as well. Knight forced to catch it, doesn't have the TP. Bin and Knight committing all of their summoner spells to make this play happening. The idea of shutting Gumayushi down is so important because of how much of a threat he is. Bin gets a nice flash, 2-person stun off, and they give the initial kill over to Knight. On's then able to disengage while Gumayushi does get away. Knight's able to secure the second kill as well. The kills in favor of BLG, but the gold still in the hands of T1.
So much pressure on the shoulders of these BLG players, and now even more so onto that of Knight. A player that is so well-renowned in the LPL here, really looking to take that last step and acquire his first world championship. He is the richest player in the game on Ahri, such a playmaker. Can he do it?
That's the question that everyone asks themselves in moments like this as well. For BLG, it would be the first time they have won a world championship. For T1, it would be their 5th. Faker so often leads the charge. Now it's Knight to take the charge into his own hands. Carrier looking at the side of the board. The TP coming in behind as T1 begin to draw out their battle plans. Faker looking for that flank. BLG disengage. T1 can't quite find the fight that they were looking for right now.
Faker doesn't quite realize he's sitting on a ward, but chooses not to overcommit to the play. TP's in ready for the action to kick off, but nothing too chaotic just yet. A minute and 15 until the next Rift Herald spawns. The bot lane has been completely abandoned. As T1 looking to now provide support for Zeus. See if he can push that wave underneath the tower. Keeping my eyes on the minimap. On has gone to reset, so it's BLG that'll be forced to concede for the time being. As T1 have numbers on the map, but On is quickly making his way towards top. Elk catching that wave in mid is crucial for him as he tries to close that goal gap between the two AD carries.
Galio ult is available here. Remember, for Faker, you have to be careful as BLG. T1 have that safety net.
Wave clear from Knight, though, coming through with the Malignance completed and level 9. The Q is going to be doing enough damage to help clear out those waves, but Gumayushi not slowing down. Catch another wave as the resets now come through from T1. Dragon spawning in 55, the Herald in 25.
And again, the reason we're focusing so much on Knight, you know, him getting all of this gold is because Elk has been put so far behind in this game. It's going to be a while before there is another really big carry threat on the BLG side, and so Knight is their big threat of getting kills. Bin, of course, on the side lane is going to look to farm up and scale up some more money on the Jax, but that as well might take a while.
And typically, Zyra is a difficult AD carry to kill. Thanks to the feathers, thanks to the ultimate, but with a Poppy and a Gragas and a Zinja and a Galio, it's going to be even harder, and it becomes that question, as you highlighted in draft, Kobe, can the Jarvan actually lock the Zyra down? The flash is about to come off cooldown for Gumayushi. Both neutral objectives are alive. It's T1 that set their sights on the Herald, and they're going to be the ones to start this objective off.
Now they will begin it. They have the vision control around there as well. You can see Knight pushing in the bottom side, does have the TP. He's also the only gold lead on his team right now.
A few more seconds until Knight's TP is available. It looks like that they are just going to concede it as the bot side of the map becomes BLG's priority. Tier 1 going to be happy to secure the Herald and the top tier 1 as well. No one could really gain purchase on the mid wave as it's just cleared out by Elk and Zeus. But Tier 1 do have a tempo advantage here, and they're looking to keep the pressure on top side.
Top side objectives have been turned so quickly into tower gold during this series. They're looking to do it again.
Knight's still working his way through that bot side tier 1. Will now take it. Then TPs to try and save the tier 2 in the top side. Rift Herald was not put down by T1. They just disengage as soon as they see that teleport used. That investment from BLG. They'll happily take it. Zeus is catching the wave in the bottom lane, so T1 not losing any gold on the map either.
Yeah, BLG feeling like they need to invest Knight's teleport to deny that big influx of gold from one of those side lane secondary turrets to try and stop that snowball that has been so prevalent. Allows them to push right back out here for Bin, as well as Elk taking care of the wave in mid too. Some critical income for them.
One of the things we were very excited about coming into this game was Bin versus Zeus. Versus Zeus for the vast majority of this game. And remember that given that Elk has been so far behind, he's been either playing into the Galio or he's been playing into the Gragas. And Zeus has quietly built up a very healthy lead for himself. Just a few moments ago, he was about 1k gold ahead. Now that he's back out onto the map, he's spent that gold. And Bin yet to actually complete his first item. Let's see if this back will secure it for him. And there it is. So now the Trinity Force finished for Bin. He's going to feel a lot more confident as we get closer to these mid-game fights.
Still about 1,000 gold lead for T1. A Drake Capice, Hex Tech to T1, Infernal to BLG. The Grub's advantage as well with that Rift Herald in pocket means that T1 do have the pressure advantage on the map. If they want to push it like this, they'll take a tier 2 in the top side with 3 towers to 1 in their favor.
Yeah, I think BLG here, just keep Elk in mid lane here where it's nice and safe with your outer tower still up. Farm up with the Static Shiv on the Kai'Sa. Keep on farming till he can at least get his second item here. And then they can try and look to actually contest. Little cheeky steal away attempt here on the blue. Should be good.
You can feel the tension. 3-2 in kills.
2K
the gold lead for Tier 1 after securing that top Tier 2. the fact that Elk still finds himself very far behind is definitely a point of concern. But in terms of XP, he's been able to accelerate, actually get ahead of Guma, because T1 have been playing so much around their AD carry to put pressure on the map. Base is going to be interrupted there by Carrier. But BLG quite happy to play this game slowly for now. They're not in any real risk. The Baron is still 2.5 minutes away. What's crucial is that they get items on Elk and that he can have impact in these later fights.
Put pretty drastically behind in the early game. So the gold, it fluctuates between about 1.5 to 2k between the two teams, which BLG will be happy enough with considering how the early game went. Faker lying in wait here to see if Knight oversteps. Knight just wants to push out the wave and then get himself back to base. Spin, pulling the wave across a little bit here, but with the Counter-Strike he will just start to push this one towards T1 again with 2 minutes on the Baron and 2 minutes on the Cloud Drake.